It is 2026, and right now, somewhere in the world, a Boeing aircraft is being assembled. A surgeon is ordering a replacement hip joint. A farmer in Iowa is dispatching a grain shipment to Rotterdam. A bank in Frankfurt is processing a payroll for 40,000 employees. None of these people know each other. None of their companies share an owner, but every single one of them is running on the same software. Software most of them have never heard of. Software written by 5 men who left IBM in 1972 with nothing but a single idea and a determination to build something their former employer was too comfortable to imagine. The company is SAP, and if you have never heard of it, that is exactly the point. Corby Larry here. You are going to hear a story today about the most important software company in the history of enterprise computing. A company that does not make phones, does not run a search engine, does not stream your music. A company whose name never appears on any consumer product you've ever bought. And yet, without SAP, the global economy as you know it stops. Supply chains freeze, hospitals run out of medication, retailers cannot reorder stock. The lights stay on, but everything that keeps the modern world moving, the logistics, the procurement, the finance, the manufacturing, goes dark. This is the story of how 5 IBM engineers in Germany built the invisible infrastructure of modern capitalism, and almost nobody outside the boardroom knows their names. Go back to 1972. IBM is the undisputed king of enterprise computing. Its mainframes run the back offices of every major corporation in the Western world. It is a company so dominant, so entrenched, that its own employees are beginning to go numb. 5 of those employees, Dietmar Hopp, Hasso Plattner, Klaus Tschira, Hans Werner Hector, and Klaus Wellenrauter are working at IBM's German division in Mannheim, and they are frustrated. The frustration is specific. Every time IBM installs a system for a large company, the software has to be rebuilt almost entirely from scratch. A payroll system for a chemicals company looks nothing like a payroll system for a manufacturing firm, even though the underlying logic is almost identical. IBM's approach is to customize everything, charge for everything, and move on. The data lives in isolation. The departments cannot talk to each other. Finance does not know what manufacturing is doing. Procurement does not know what logistics has ordered. Every division is an island. The 5 men have a different idea. What if you built one system, one unified platform where every department of a business ran on the same data in real time, all at once? What if finance and manufacturing and logistics and procurement were not separate islands, but one continent? What if a single transaction in the warehouse automatically updated the accounts, the inventory, the procurement order, and the delivery schedule simultaneously? IBM does not want to hear it. Big Blue is making too much money the old way. So, in April 1972, the 5 men leave. They found a company called Systemanalyse und Programmentwicklung, System Analysis and Program Development in English, and they call it SAP for short. They start with one client, a German subsidiary of Imperial Chemical Industries. They work through the night. Literally through the night, the only computer powerful enough to run their prototype belongs to ICI, and ICI only lets them use it after business hours. So, the founders of what will become the most valuable software company in Europe build their product in darkness between midnight and dawn on a machine they do not own. What they build in those night sessions is something no enterprise software has attempted before. They call it a real-time system, not a batch system where transactions are processed overnight and reports arrive the next morning. Real-time. The moment a production order is placed, the system updates. The moment an invoice is paid, the accounts reflect it. The moment a component is consumed on the factory floor, the procurement system knows it needs reordering. For 1972, this is not an incremental improvement. It is a complete reimagining of how a business sees itself. They call the first product R1. It runs on IBM mainframes, which is faintly ironic. It works. ICI adopts it. Then another German company, then another. By the end of the 1970s, SAP has a customer list that reads like a directory of German industrial giants. BASF, Siemens, BMW. These are not small clients. These are the backbone of the West German economic miracle, and they are all running SAP. The real turning point comes in 1979. SAP releases R3. This is the product that changes everything, not just for SAP, for enterprise computing as an industry, for the global economy, for every way every large organization on Earth manages itself. R3 runs on client-server architecture. This matters enormously. Until now, enterprise software has lived on mainframes, enormous, expensive proprietary machines that only the largest companies can afford. R3 can run on smaller, cheaper computers. It can be networked, it can scale, and it comes with something no enterprise system has ever offered in this form: a complete, integrated suite covering finance, human resources, supply chain, manufacturing, procurement, and sales in one unified platform, sharing one database, speaking one language. The timing is perfect in a way that feels almost orchestrated. The early 1990s are the beginning of globalization as a business strategy. Companies are moving manufacturing offshore, building international supply chains, merging across borders. Managing all of that complexity requires exactly the kind of unified real-time visibility that R3 provides. The product and the moment are made for each other. What follows is not a growth story, it is a takeover. By the mid-1990s, SAP is not competing for enterprise software contracts, it is defining what enterprise software means. Its competitors, PeopleSoft, Oracle, Bonn, are scrambling to match a product that has become the industry standard before the industry fully realized it was choosing one. Consultants retrain. Business schools add SAP courses to their curricula. A new profession appears, the SAP Consultant, a person whose entire career is built around implementing and customizing one company's software. At its peak, this ecosystem employed more people than SAP itself. By the late 1990s, SAP has something more powerful than market share. It has switching costs so catastrophic that leaving SAP is not a business decision, it is a corporate surgery. Ripping out SAP and replacing it with something else means years of disruption, hundreds of millions in consulting fees, and a genuine risk of operational collapse during the transition. Companies don't just use SAP, they're built around SAP. Their processes conform to SAP. Their data lives in SAP. The product has become the skeleton of the enterprise. This is the moment when Hasso Plattner, who has become the dominant intellectual force inside the company, understands something profound. SAP is not a software company in the conventional sense. It is infrastructure, like roads, like electrical grids, like the internet itself. You don't choose roads. You drive on them because they're there, because everything is built around them, because there's no alternative that doesn't require tearing the entire city down and starting again. And then Y2K happens. The year 2000 bug is the moment the entire world discovers that enterprise computing exists and that it is fragile. Every major corporation on Earth is suddenly forced to audit its software, update its systems, ensure its code can handle the date change. SAP's installed base, already enormous, explodes, because if you're going to touch every system in your organization anyway, you might as well standardize on one platform. Between 1997 and 2001, SAP implementation projects become the largest single category of corporate technology spending in the world. Hundreds of billions of dollars flow through SAP implementations. The consulting firms, Accenture, Deloitte, IBM itself, the company the founders walked away from, all build SAP practices that generate more revenue than most mid-sized software companies. The dot-com crash barely touches SAP because SAP's customers aren't dot-coms. They're manufacturers, chemical companies, automotive groups, banks, pharmaceutical giants, the companies that survive every crash because the world can't function without them, and they all run SAP. Hasso Plattner does not stop. In 2010, he begins funding research into a new database architecture at his own expense, outside of SAP's official roadmap. It results in HANA, High Performance Analytic Analyzer. And almost none of the people whose lives depend on it every day know its name. The supply chain that brought your phone to you ran through SAP. The bank that processes your paycheck runs on SAP. The hospital that manages your medical records runs on SAP. The airline that flies you home runs on SAP. The retailer whose app you use to order groceries tonight, SAP. The logistics company that will deliver those groceries tomorrow morning, SAP. 5 men left IBM in 1972 with an idea about real-time data. They worked through the night on a borrowed computer. They built something that no one outside their industry has ever heard of, and they became, quietly, the people who run the world. The next time something arrives exactly when it was supposed to, from exactly the right place, in exactly the right condition, that is SAP. Working invisibly, the way infrastructure always does. Corby Larry here. Drop a comment and check out our previous video on why banks run on a code from 1959.